host. Let me give the floor to Mr. Rihards Kols.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for the floor. Apparently, I'm hearing myself. I don't know if it's on my side or on your side, but nevertheless, we'll sort it out. Well, first of all, thank you for the conference organizers, particularly Žygimantas Pavlionis, my dear friend and colleague. It is a vital topic, not only when it comes to Belarusian people, but also to our, neighboring country, and that very much reflects the situation in Baltic countries, the assumptions within our societies, and the support for the Belarusian people, towards democratic appeals. So what I heard from the previous discussions, one thing that really got my attention was the reaction from the West and how the policymakers in our respective parliaments and across the EU first have reacted. As we know, there is a risk for falling in this, Lukashenko-style appeasement style. We saw in previous, in the past as well, the, systematic violations of human rights, EU imposing sanctions on Lukashenko. Then, he knows what strings to pull in order to maybe twist around the Western policymakers and sort of made this illusion that, he's on the right path, that he's actually leaning towards the Western values. And time to time again, the Western policymakers have fallen into this trap. And I think this is a monumental time for the Western policymakers to understand that actually we have to make the similar position that we have made when it comes to Crimean Peninsula. The non-recognition of the occupation as, with no end term for it. So something similar has to be done when it comes to Belarus and call for the new elections. It should not be put under any, concessions. It's, an ultimatum that we set forward. But let me just, observe what I have seen so far since last year, August. So many months of the public resistance to Lukashenko's regime have revealed profound changes underway in the Belarusian society, like such things as dignity, individual rights, and demand for self-determination and freedom of expression really have come to the forefront, replacing the paternalistic social contract of the past 2 decades, whereby the public really enjoyed the rising living standards by forfeiting the right to participate in politics. And we see that the opposition is both either imprisoned or in exile, but still it has ignited the politicization of the Belarusian people that was maybe not existent for the past 2 decades. Maybe somebody was more of this, paternalistic approach, that somebody will always take care of me and so on. Now determination that we can actually set our future and decide has somewhat risen within the Belarusian society altogether. And that is, something that we see is constant for the past more than a half year. And so the changes within the Belarusian society indicate that people are ready to seize the opportunity to shape their future. And we know that while, the sanctions that have dominated the Western debate on how to deter Belarusian authoritarian regime, it is vital for us Europeans and the European policymakers to find other tools as well, not only sanctions. So we see that at some point it surfaces that the Belarus right now is experiencing delayed nation-building process. People are deciding who they are, how they want to live, and how their relations with neighboring countries should look. So both the movement's political leaders and supporters in civil society need to create space for complex debates over policy and ideas, helping to foster a new vision for the country. Only call for the new election won't solve this. This is something, that I think the Belarusian people are just, calling for. To new ideas, how we can transform together the country altogether. So the political change in Belarus will not happen unless public officials as well, their supporters within the society at large, and the members, particularly of the security services, can be convinced to abandon Lukashenko. That actually opposition has not only the call for the new elections, but the substance that comes with, transforming Belarus for the long term. So, I have few suggestions when it comes to the opposition, and with the previous speakers, I would like to invite to avoid labeling new opposition, old opposition. We have the democratic opposition in Belarus. So therefore, the opposition needs to actively shape Belarusian domestic political agenda and show that its members can lead the country by enacting long overdue reforms. It's just not, as I again mentioned, just elections. It also has to have a strong vision. The opposition needs to know how to create policy proposals and offer a new vision that would excite the nation. And here I see the West can play actually a role. We can help by coaching the opposition on how to run a political opposition that holds the government accountable. They must learn how to attract new followers and campaign effectively. They also need to be trained in how to advocate and lobby government officials for change. So this is something that is very interconnected and comes from the society roots, that each Belarusian actually, it's not just, having on Sundays, which is, unprecedented and, remarkable thing, having political marches, but also submitting ideas, even to the current elected policymakers at the Belarusian parliament, because that will be put on but at least will be in a public discussion. Because it's not just, we have walk and call for the new elections, but we have also concrete offers where Belarus should move in the future, whatever the election outcome will be if there are new elections. So I think the West policymakers need to engage with the opposition through different channels to actually provide the tools, the instruments, how the policy is shaped, how the policy is made, how the policy actually is delivered to each individual Belarusian citizen. So I think that is, so far what I can see in the coming months, in the coming, year for the West to really engage. And we do that. We do that through our NGOs. It's not only, policymakers. And that is something that, know-how will help in the long term really transform the Belarus in general. So thank you. Those are my comments for this panel. Thank you.